Good Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this hump day. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with Robert John Connor. He's made a name for himself as an actor, writer, director, singer, and producer. We'll talk about his extraordinary career. Enjoy today's program. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In international news, UK breaks record for highest temperature as Europe sizzles. Britain shattered its record for highest temperature ever registered Tuesday amid a heat wave that has seared swaths of Europe as the UK's national weather forecaster says such highs are now a fact of life in a country ill-prepared for such extremes. The typically temperate nation was just the latest to be walloped by unusually hot, dry weather that has triggered wildfires from Portugal to the Balkans and led to hundreds of heat-related deaths. Images of flames racing toward a French beach and Britain sweltering, even at the seaside, have driven home concerns about climate change. The UK Met Office Weather Agency registered a provisional reading of 40.3 degrees Celsius, 104.5 degrees Fahrenheit, in eastern England, breaking the record set just hours earlier. Before Tuesday, the highest temperature recorded in Britain was 101.7 degrees Fahrenheit, set in 2019. By later afternoon, 29 places in the UK had broken the record. As the nation watched with a combination of horror and fascination, the Met Office chief scientist said such temperatures in Britain were virtually impossible without human-driven climate change. He warned that we could see temperatures like this every 3 years without serious action on carbon emissions. The sweltering weather has disrupted travel, healthcare, and schools. Many homes, small businesses, and even public buildings, including hospitals in Britain, don't have air conditioning, a reflection of how unusual such heat in the country, better known for rain and mild temperatures. In national news, former White House aides to testify at next January 6 hearing. Two former White House aides are expected to testify at the House January 6 committee's primetime hearing on Thursday as a panel examines what Donald Trump was doing as his supporters broke into the Capitol, according to a person familiar with the plans. Matthew Pottinger, former Deputy National Security Advisor, and Sarah Matthews, a former press aide, are expected to testify, according to the person who was not authorized to publicly discuss the matter and requested anonymity. Both Pottinger and Matthews resigned immediately after the January 6, 2021 insurrection that interrupted the congressional certification of President Joe Biden's victory. The two witnesses will add to the committee's narrative in its eighth and possibly final hearing this summer. The primetime hearing will detail what Trump did or did not do during several hours that day as his supporters beat police officers and broke into the Capitol. Previous hearings have detailed chaos in the White House, and aides and outsiders were begging the president to tell the rioters to leave. But he waited more than 3 hours to do so, and there are still many unanswered questions about what exactly he was doing and saying as the violence unfolded. A spokesperson for the committee declined to comment. CNN was the first to report the identity of Thursday's witnesses. Lawmakers on the 9-member panel have said the hearing will offer the most compelling evidence yet of Trump's dereliction of duty that day, with witnesses detailing his failure to stem the angry mob. In more national news, Bannon contempt of Congress trial to begin in earnest. Lawyers for longtime Trump advisor Steve Bannon unsuccessfully requested a 1-month delay on the second day of his criminal trial for contempt of Congress. The U.S. District Judge quickly denied that motion and said the trial was to begin in earnest. Bannon is facing the federal charges after refusing for months to cooperate with the House committee investigating the January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection. The bulk of Tuesday morning's session revolved around debates over how much of Bannon's communications with the January 6 committee can be admitted as evidence. In more national news, Jill Biden, education chief, to kick off summer learning tour. Jill Biden and the Educational Secretary, Miguel Cardona, will visit Connecticut, Georgia, Michigan this week to examine summer learning programs that are helping children who fell behind during the pandemic catch up on reading, writing, and arithmetic before the new school year begins. The 2-day tour, which the First Lady's office announced on Tuesday, also gives her and Cardona a chance to highlight programs that are paid for by President Joe Biden's coronavirus relief program. The $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan set aside $122 billion to help schools safely reopen and stay open during the pandemic and address students' academic and mental health needs. And finally, in business news, stocks sweep higher on Wall Street as profit reports roll in. Wall Street rallied on Tuesday toward its best days in weeks as more reports poured in of how much profit companies made during the spring. The S&P 500 jumped 2.5% after a powerful tide carried all but 2% of the stocks in the index higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 679 points, or 2.2%, and the Nasdaq Composite roared to 2.9% higher. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. When you're in the midst of your fiery times, keep in mind that your challenges are not meant to destroy you, but refine you. Allow the flames to remove the dross and all that is not helpful to the person you were meant to be. If you hold on, what will remain will be a wiser and stronger you that will be better equipped for what will eventually come your way. Just have faith. Have an amazing Wednesday. Robert John Connor speaks in today's Entertainment Spotlight right here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Robert John Connor is an actor, writer, director, singer, and producer. He stopped by Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about his extraordinary career. Here's a bit of our conversation.
So many people, we talk about what we want to do. You've been able to live the life that you wanted for yourself in the arts, Mr. Connor. What has that experience been like for you to kind of look at that career you've had and the road that has kind of led you to where you are today?
You know, it's so funny that you asked that, because when I started in the entertainment and arts pathway, I just was a young kid from Pittsburgh who loved music and arts and creativity, and thank goodness my parents had the wherewithal to kind of make sure that I had a gateway to express myself creatively. You know, initially I imagined, I was going to be a singer, and I still am, but what I didn't realize is how my platform would expand to this juncture of my life and career, where I'm not only able to, be a participant and be a creative, and I'm able to now produce and create platforms for others, writers and choreographers and lighting designers. No, I didn't see that as a, say, 13-year-old boy who just loved the arts and found his niche in the performing arts. But I'm glad that I've had a lot of life experiences through education and through inspiration that kind of guided me to this place right now. It's very fulfilling to look back over my life now and see, reflect on all of the experiences I've had on stage, behind the scenes, and go, wow, I've had a great run, and there's so much more to do.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversation Daily News, but we'll have you guys on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Let's make today amazing. Take care.